God bless you. My name is Aaron Cunningham. I'll be doing tonight's teaching. And it's going to be Gideon tearing down the altar of government called Baal. It was a god he had to tear down, and it was a god called government. So that's what the teaching could be on. Anyways, before we do that, we're going to be obedient. To hearken's better than sacrifice, right?
Right.
He tells us to covet to prophesy and to speak in tongues and interpret. So we're going to do that. But what do the kids like to start off? Anybody?
I will.
Okay.
I will speak in tongues. Shakundruma Sandakulis, Nathanakulis and the Shamulus and the Tui, Lamalis and the Kulas and the Tailus, Lamasine Kulas and the Sundakalushine. My children, do not fear, for I am always with you. Because if I'm with you, nobody can be against you. Like David against Goliath. If I'm with David, he can destroy Goliath. You can do all things with me, so do not fear.
I'll speak in tongues and interpret. Kuliana eata satamoku bikiliana ikiata abiana usotoku bikiata ekinoma eatu sotebi aliana baka ebiason. As you begin each day and as you work in your life and you focus upon me and you see the light that I put inside you, manifest that light to the world around you. Let them see that I abide within you, that I live within you, your very breath, I am your very breath. So showing forth that light and bring deliverance for this dark and evil world.
I'll prophesy. My sons and daughters, be checking yourself for ticks. You run through the fields and you think you're clean, and you come home, you bring these ticks back. You bring them with you, and they're all over your legs and your arms, but you don't see them. You don't see them, and you think you're good, you think you're clean. But you bring them into your home, and you bring them to your dog, and you bring them to your wife, and you bring them to your children. And pretty soon everyone's infected with ticks, and you have to go to someone and try to get these ticks off. But they're not going to come off. And you have to take the spray, and you have to spray them down. You have to pull them out one by one and point out ticks on each other, because these ticks are dangerous and you don't know where they are.
And thank you, Father, for those words. And with Elijah's standing alone, and we've got to use some of those prophecies for the teaching tonight. Ticks. I'm not going to cast any stones, and people start looking at my life. Oh, don't look at me. that's tearing down the altar of government. And so, let me get a shot. This is not a really good picture of a place called Ely Cathedral. It doesn't look very big here. It's gargantuan. I was on the roof of this. The roof is 1,200 years old. The timbers inside, the guy was saying they're probably 1,000 years old or 2,000 years old as we're going through. He starts explaining the timbers where they would have got them. They had to be at least 800 years old. And he goes, this is an 800, 900-year-old tree. There's these lumber timbers this big. Then he goes, would you guys like to go on the roof? I'm like, 1,200-year-old. But we did get to go on the roof. And on the roof it was metal, and it was built. But the hallway was about like this tall. I feel like a giant. I don't know if people were. This whole. You want to call it Ely Cathedral? You know what they use for currency? Eels. This is what they had in this part of England. And also this Ely is famous because there's somebody named Oliver Cromwell. Anybody ever heard of him? If you don't, you do something I didn't know about him. People kept talking. Who is this Oliver Cromwell? That'd be like coming to the United States. Who's Benjamin Franklin? Oliver Cromwell, he began here in Ely. But how I'm going to keep this into the teaching is what's real important about this picture is the friend when I went to my host was Catholic. She would say she's a devout Catholic, and I'd be like, you wouldn't be having some of your friends if you're a real Catholic. You go to church. She goes to confession. But one of the things she did not like about this is. It won't let me zoom in. You guys see this right up here?
Mm-hmm.
See all those little
Spikes?
No, not spikes. Underneath, above the windows, there's cavities.
Uh-huh.
So there's a cavity right here, cavity here. Those used to be all full of statues. The whole church had statues everywhere. And she pointed them out, and she said and what happened was that when they became Anglican, She looks at me. She's Catholic. She goes, they destroyed all the statues. They smashed them all. She goes, isn't that sad? Look at all the statues that are missing. Coming from a Catholic. And she's going, why would you do that? Good question, right? I think some of us might have an idea. Why would they tear down such statues? Statues of the saints. What's the problem with statues and saints?
Worship the images.
You could say, okay, chapter and verse. This is from, see right over here, this is Catholic.com. This is not Wikipedia, although Wikipedia has some pretty good stuff when I was doing some searching. I started talking about the Ten Commandments, and it said Yahweh Elohim of the Hebrews. This is what he would want. You can't do an image. Wikipedia. I'm like, okay, but it had YHWH, but this is not Wikipedia. So if I Google, should you pray to saints? I was trying to explain this to my son. He goes to a Catholic church. Why you have saints up front? And as you say, the historic Christian practice of asking our departed brothers and sisters in Christ, the saints, for their intercession has come under attack in the last few hundred years. And they're explaining why you pray to these saints. Why do they have these statues? Well, if they're dead and they're in heaven and they're a saint, we can pray to them. And what they'll do is they'll pray for us, and you get to see it, pray for us. And so the whole article right here on Catholic.com is explaining, and they'll come back with a rebuttal too. They'll say Protestants don't like this because there's something called necromancy. Necromancy, there's no ghosts. There is no psychics. There's called necromancy, which necro means dead, inquiring of the dead. And Yahweh calls them familiar spirits. He doesn't call them ghosts. They're called a familiar spirit. Why is it a familiar spirit? This spirit has been around for 3,000 years. The spirit knows not only Hillary Rodham Clinton, but probably Jezebel could, and so that those are what the familiar spirits are. But they're praying to images, and so what happened was, what's wrong with praying to these images? Going to these images. Chapter and verse, right here. You can see here's Exodus 20, the Rotherham. It won't let me zoom in if I do the power. If I do the laser point, it won't let me zoom in. But you'll see right here, thou shalt not make unto thee an image of any form that is in the heaven above, or that is in earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath. And thou shalt not bow thyself down to them, nor be led to serve them. For I, Yahweh, am thy Elohim, a jealous El. What does that mean? Your dad does not want to share your mom with any other man. In fact, if a man came in, it'd be a death sentence. And actually, that could be that's good. Because no, I don't share my wife. I don't share my husband. That's called jealousy. And Yahweh is a jealous El. And Yahweh warns you, my glory to another do not give. Don't make any images of me. There's no God beside me. All through Isaiah, there's no one beside me. I am Yahweh, thy Elohim. There's nothing beside me. Why does he keep saying that? Over and over again. And so what happened with the Anglican Church, they go, you guys are praying all kinds of images. We got to get rid of these images, man. Like Mac Goldberg or whatever. These fornicators, we got to get rid of these fornicators. They didn't know. So they got rid of all these images because they had idols. And here's idolatry and the rest of this stuff. So Judges 6. We're going to take a look at Gideon.
666.
And the reason why I want to start off with that, because otherwise, if you read it, some of the stuff, it was so foreign to me. It wasn't until John Shanahan started talking about false gods, and he goes, do you have a lucky hat? Or a lucky fishing hat? Or a lucky bat? How about lucky socks when you play football? And then he did his teaching, he goes, socks don't bring you any power. Shoes don't bring you any power. But if you're going to them for power, that is idolatry. Yahweh is a jealous El. He doesn't want to share. He goes, you want power? Fine, come to me. And we know that there's only one way to go to Yahweh is through Christ Jesus. He's a mediator. But when John Shane and I taught that, I went, whoa, 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 because I had a lot of lucky stuff. I spit 3 times before every snap.
Before what?
The football. Why? It was idolatry. It was a little bit, nothing real big. Judges chapter 6, 1 through 5, if somebody would read that for me.
And the sons of Israel did the thing that was wicked in the sight of Yahweh. So Yahweh delivered them into the hand of Midian 7 years. And the hand of Midian prevailed against Israel. Because of Midian did the sons of Israel prepare for themselves the hollows which were in the mountains, and the caves and the strongholds. And so it was used to be, if Israel had sown, then came up Midian and Amalek and the sons of the east, yea, came up against them and encamped against them, and destroyed the increase of the land until thou comest unto Gaza. Neither left they sustenance in Israel, nor sheep, nor ox, nor ass. For they with their cattle used to come up with their tents, yea, they used to come up like locusts for multitude. Both they and their cattle were without number. So they came into the land to lay it waste.
The word waste here, so here's a couple of things that's important about this. The Israelites are living in caves, hollows. With Deborah, right before this, I think it was Deborah, they wouldn't even take the roads. Because if you went on the roads, you'd get robbed. So when you went someplace, you'd go this way or go that way. But why are they living in caves? Yahweh delivered them up because of their wickedness. Also, what happens is, where's all their livestock? Which is real important because Gideon's going to produce an animal. And in the paragraph Bible is going to say these animals must have been hidden somewhere. So this wasn't just you got livestock walking out there. No, if you have livestock, the Midianites and the Amalekites, they're not just coming to kill it, stealing it, they're destroying it. And the word waste here, at the very end of chapter or verse 5, is the same Hebrew word that is what happened to the earth with the wickedness before Noah. They become waste, destroyed, riotous. You can imagine there's dead animals. If you have food, things getting caught. Do you know what this is? The Seattle riots. That's what it is, riots. Just confusion, all the rest of the stuff. People are living in there. Here's all these riots, and why are there riots? What in the world's going on here? If somebody would read, we're going to read, let's see here, 6 through 11, please.
Thus was Israel greatly impoverished because of Midian. And the sons of Israel made outcry unto Yahweh. When it came to pass was the sons of Israel cried unto Yahweh on account of Midian. Then sent Yahweh a prophet unto the sons of Israel, who said unto them, Thus said Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, I led you up out of Egypt, and brought you forth out of the house of servants. Yea, I rescued you out of the land of Egypt, and out of the hand of all who oppress thee, that I might drive thee out from before you, and I gave unto you their land. Yea, I said unto you, I, Yahweh, am your Elohim. You must not fear the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you are about to dwell, but ye have not hearkened unto my own voice. Then came the messenger of Yahweh, and sat down under the oak which was in Ophrah, which belonged to Joash the Abiezrite, and Gideon his son were beating out wheat in the winepress to escape the notice of the Midianites.
What's neat about, I never noticed this until I was reading for this teaching, a messenger is going to talk to him, okay? And then later, after the messenger, Yahweh is going to speak directly to him. I didn't know that. After a messenger shows up, he's gone, then Yahweh goes, go do this. Why did you just have the messenger? No, he's raising him up. Well, but he's in a wine press. Let's see here. There we go. Here's a wine press. This is probably a fancy wine press compared to what an impoverished, poor people are. They're broke. They're poor. Imagine the people that are living in Philadelphia right now. The people that are being held hostage. Do you think they feel like they're living in caves? You can't go outside. You got all the rest of this garbage that's happening. And what's happening also is Yahweh warned them. I warned you guys at 40 years that they were delivered. Then 7 years they went right back into slavery. But Gideon's in a wine press. Why? Because he's threshing his wheat, but he's trying to do it in secret so nobody can see the food. Okay? But that's what the wine press would look like. I'm going to read, or if somebody read 12 through 15.
I will.
Thank you.
And Gideon said unto him, Pardon, my Adonai, if Yahweh be with us, then wherefore hath all this befallen us? And where are all his wonders which our fathers have recounted to us, saying, was it not out of Egypt that Yahweh brought us up? But now hath Yahweh abandoned us and delivered us into the hand of Midian. And Yahweh turned unto him and said, go in this thy might, and thou shalt save Israel out of the hand of Midian. Have I not sent thee? And he said unto him, pardon, O my Adonai, how shall I save Israel? Lo, my 1,000 is my poorest in Manasseh, and I am the youngest in the house of my father.
Here's Christians right now, not us. What's happening? Where's our God? What's happening? We can't go to church. We're locked up. Is this the end of the world? It's the end. This is the apocalypse. All the rest of this stuff, and a lot of people feel like they're being abandoned, and we should be able to go get your house in order, clean up your wickedness. Call a spade a spade. Speak up, rise up. But here's Yahweh ignores them. Yahweh has to abandon us. Do you think that would have irritated Yahweh? I abandoned you guys. Really? Because we're going to find out what it says in his dad's front yard. I abandoned Yahweh. You got pornographic magazines in your house. You got a keg of beer for kids to have orgies in the basement. I can't go into that place. You can imagine a priest. I'm not going in there. I thought about the one time that I was listening to a teaching, and it was I got a communication. Aaron, just imagine that Christ is in your car. Okay, you're riding with Christ. Hey, we're buds, listening to it, and then you pull into an adult store that sells pornography and all kind of sexual paraphernalia. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of weird. Do you think he's going to go in there with you? No, he's not going to. And guess what? When you come back out, is he going to be in the car? No. But the difference is we don't see him. But he is with us, and he's going to see everything. Everything we do is on a big screen, and it's being recorded, unless you repent. But here's, then we stopped right there. Gideon's feeling by himself. Yahweh says, right here in verse 15. Let me see here. Verse 16. It was, all right. So here's Manasseh. How can I do this? How can I do this? And Yahweh said unto him, I will give you 300 men who will be invincible, and nobody will be able to stand before you, Gideon. Do not fear.
Nope.
No? Did Yahweh promise them 300 men that would be invincible?
Nope.
What did Yahweh tell them? I will be with thee. So shalt thou smite Midian as one man. Just you and me, Gideon. Nobody's promised. Who's going to be with him? Me. You stand up for me, I stand up for you, Gideon. You got it? Man, okay. So then somebody, remember there's a famine that's happening. Paragraph Bible says any livestock would have been hidden. Why? Because the Amalekites and the Midianites are going to come destroy it, take it. Okay, would somebody read, let me see, 17, the next, 17 through 20, please.
Go ahead, Melania.
He said unto him, if I beseech thee, I have found favor in thine eyes, then wilt thou work for me a sign, that is thou who art speaking with me. Do not, I beseech thee, withdraw from hence until I come unto thee, and bring forth my present, and set it before thee. And he said, I will tarry until thou return. So Gideon went in and made ready a kid of the goats, and an ephah of meal, unleavened cakes, the flesh he put in a basket, and the broth he put in a pot, and brought them forth unto him unto the oak, and presented them. And the messenger of Yahweh said unto him, take the flesh and cakes, and set them in this crag, and the broth to pour out. And he did so.
It's a famine. It's a famine. It's a famine. Later on, one of the visions of that Yahweh gives a dream to the Midianites is he said, I saw a barley cake coming rolling down and hit the tent of Midian and flipped it upside down. And the guy goes, this is nothing but Gideon. He's going to destroy us. Why barley cake? Barley is what you feed livestock. Not what you eat. We don't eat barley. You might make beer out of it. But you eat out of wheat or corn or whatever. So these guys are broken. And then you pour out the broth. Why would you pour out that's got to really bother Dad. Wasteful stuff. Whoa! Why would you? People are starving. Why would you pour out the broth? Why would you do that? And I remember John Shainite said that. He goes, man, you don't pour out the broth. You save it or something. And I have a speculation on that. Why pour out the broth? drink offering theory. There were things called a drink offering. And a drink offering in Numbers 28:7 was going to be a strong drink. But he poured it out to Yahweh. And I believe this was a drink offering to Yahweh. What do you do with the broth? Here's an offering. King David did the same thing in 2 Samuel 23:16. Before I started this theory of a drink offering, this drove me nuts about King David. See these three men right there in front of King David? First of all, I think if King David was doing a drink offering, I think he would be on his knees. It was me. But David said, "Oh, that I could drink from the well that is inside." I think it's in Jerusalem. Was it Bethlehem? Oh, that I could just drink it. So his three mightiest men go in, risk their life. That over all odds, they get, it would have been a skin, I believe, of water. They brought it back to him. You know what he does? He pours it out. Then he goes, but the point of that wasn't that he poured it out, but he goes, "Yahweh, these guys risked their life for me." I believe that was a drink offering to Yahweh again. Yahweh, this is yours. So I think that the pouring the broth out was a drink offering. And in Philippians 2:17, the Apostle Paul was talking about he wants to be poured out as a drink offering. So if you don't know any of those things, it just looks really weird. And so that is a theory. Now we'll read 21 through 23.
Then the messenger of Yahweh put forth the end of the staff that was in his hand and touched the flesh and the cakes. And there came up fire out of the rock and consumed the flesh and the cakes. And the messenger of Yahweh had departed out of his sight. Then saw Gideon that the messenger of Yahweh, then saw it was, so Gideon said, "Alas, my Lord Yahweh, for as much as I have seen the messenger of Yahweh face to face." And Yahweh said unto him, "Peace be unto thee, do not fear, thou shalt not die." How far?
Just to 23. And the neat thing about this picture is you see the messenger right here. You don't see any wings. There's no halos. Messengers look like men, and you would not know, with few exceptions, you would not recognize them. It'd be like a good spy. A good spy is not going to look like James Bond or Dwayne Johnson. That guy's not going to blend in. You want an average looking guy. But here's a neat one, and then look at that fire. What a great presentation. And what happened with Solomon with his offering? So much smoke the priest couldn't. That also has to happen on the day of Pentecost. So Yahweh receives it. Boom! That's what Yahweh was looking for. Fidelity! Fidelity. Do what I tell you guys. What's he going to be doing? What's the mission? He's going to take it to Midian. Yeah, we're going to take it to Midian. These are the guys, right? This is why people are living in caves. And what David said too, a neat thing about, we're not going to go all through this whole occurrence, but he talked about the fleece and stuff, and people go, "Oh, I'm just putting out a fleece." Nobody, in my opinion, should say I'm putting out a fleece like Gideon. Gideon we're talking about major war. Now, if you're special forces, maybe. If Yahweh told you to go burn down Barack Obama's house, that's a fleece situation. This guy's getting ready to go into war. This is serious. It's not like, should I date him or should I not date him? What's he doing here? No, this is serious stuff. Should I drop? This is Harry Truman dropping a nuke. This is serious stuff. But I digress. Let's see here. So we got the 23. And here's the offering. He is sending him to go to war to fight who? Midian. Okay. Now we read 24 and 25. So Gideon built there an altar unto Yahweh and called it Yahweh Shalom. Unto this day it remaineth in Orpha. And they said if anybody saw Elohim, they would die. And that's why Gideon, you'll see other times, they go, "Oh, I think I'm going to die." That's a little explanation on that. Unto this day it remaineth in Orpha the Abiezrites. And it came to pass on that night that Yahweh said unto him, no messenger here. He's by himself now. You see him being raised up? Now Gideon is receiving revelation. Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
The messenger was there. Now Gideon's primed up his faith. Now he receives revelation. And Yahweh said unto him, "Take thy young bullock that belongs to thy father, even the second bullock of 7 years, and throw down the altar of Baal." Wait a minute. That belongs to thy father. What? And the sacred stem that is by it shall thou cut down. Thou shalt build an altar unto Yahweh thy Elohim on the top of this fort, and with the pile, and shalt thou take the second bullock, and cause it to go up as an ascending sacrifice with the wood of the sacred stem, which thou shalt cut down. See, at the very beginning, the first slide, you showed people cutting down like a pole, which I like. So let's see here. So yeah, Yahweh spoke to him directly, and then what did he say? He reminds Gideon, I'm a jealous Elohim. Get rid of this garbage. Get rid of this altar. Get rid of these gods now. And what did he start with? His own house. Clean your house up, Gideon. Did Gideon feel like he had idolatry? I don't think so. He thought Yahweh abandoned him until Yahweh went right there. And so he's going to tear down the altar. And Baal is a god of government. And so what we have with government with Baal would be prosperity. You could say your Social Security comes, my health insurance. We don't need, we go to church, but if we really want something, we go to the government. They'll take care of us. And that's what we have today.
26. I'm sorry.
We're going to read that in just a second. The Democrat Christians right now are the Baal worshiping Hebrews of that time. So this whole lesson right here going to say, how many do you think of the congregation in most churches are Democrat? 50, 30%, 20%? Okay? Maybe, I don't know. It depends. But what is Baal? Government will give you your education. Whoops. Government will give me my education. Government will give me my health care. Government will give me my public education. You don't have to teach your kids anything. We'll do it. Government will give me my unemployment. Government will also tell me that I can covet my neighbor's goods. We'll tax the rich and give it to you guys. Vote for us and we'll give you money. And you can covet your neighbor's wife. That's all right. You can be like a Bill Clinton. That's all right. And you can commit a sodomy and abortion. The government justifies all these things. The Democrat Church today is the same, or the Baal worshiping Hebrews of the Gideon's time. So when people are looking at what's happening and some of the bad stuff that's happening, we can look at those churches and go, I can give you one really good reason why bad things are happening in your congregation. Why? The same bad things were happening to Gideon's time. Look at all your altars and your gods. Here's just an example of before Gideon can go fight the Midianites, what did he have to do? He's going to have to fight the Hebrews. Here's just some good food for thought. Now, we're all on the same page, but this is good ways to be thinking. What happens if you disagree with a Republican? Is your life threatened? Are you harassed the rest of your life? Are you called nasty, nasty, nasty names? What if you disagree with Democrats? Which one can literally be dangerous to you? If you say anything about a Democrat, what's going to happen? These guys, they're nasty. They'll boycott you. They'll call you names. They'll say you're a racist, you're homophobic, you're xenophobic, you're this, you're that. They will come right at you. But you're going to go, let's just take a look at these two different parties and these two different Christians that we have in the churches. You can ask somebody and say, what would happen to a church if they said, what would happen if a pastor said, I'm just going to point out some facts here as a pastor. Democrats break 5 of the 10 commandments. What do you think Greg Rochelle would do? What would happen? I don't know. What do you think would happen to that pastor if they said, if you vote for a Democrat, you are in sin? You can't break the 10 commandments and Yahweh not know. He's a jealous God. You can't do it. Sodomy, abortion, stealing from the rich, and euthanasia, absolutely sin. And if you're voting for people that are going to do those things for you, you're in sin and you need to repent. Is it Republicans or Democrats that are keeping churches from gathering? You're going to go, who is it? It's the Democrats. And everybody says, why won't anybody say it, though? And this isn't us. But good ways for us to be teaching people and to show people. You could say, what if a pastor told the truth and said that riots are the Democrat riots? The 2020 Democrat riots. What would happen if you said that? If you stood up in school, this guy right here goes to a government school and says, these are not race riots. Everybody is rioting are Democrats. Republicans don't riot. Those to race riots. No, Candace Owens not rioting. The Hodgkin twins aren't rioting. I know black people that aren't rioting. It's not race. It's the Democrat riots. What would happen if you said it? Shoom, they're going to look right at you. You can say, or if you said Antifa is the militant arm of the Democrat Party, just like the KKK was. What would they do? If you said something that was offensive to Republicans, would you be worried about them burning your house down? Looting your house? No. Okay. You'd say, what would Republicans want to live in Sodom and Gomorrah?
Would Democrats mind? Do you mean?
Would Democrats mind, or would they live in Sodom and Gomorrah? Yeah. Absolutely. This is where for people who you can be talking to Christians and go, absolutely, Democrats would. So a Democratic Christian, yeah, absolutely. What would happen if a pastor pointed these things out? What would happen to that pastor?
He loses congregation, probably.
And this is what Gideon was going through. They're not going to like this. In fact, what Gideon was going to have to do is it was his own dad's. And so 26 through 30. Somebody read that for me.
Then shalt thou build an altar unto Yahweh thy Elohim on top of this fort with a pile, and shalt take the second bullock and cause it to go up as an ascending sacrifice with the wood of the sacred stem which thou shalt cut down. So Gideon took men from among his servants, and did as Yahweh had spoken unto him, and so it was that as he too much feared the house of his father and the men of the city to do it by day, they did it by night.
Can we pause that for just a second? Did Yahweh tell Gideon Yahweh was going to be with Gideon? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now Gideon has to tear down his father's idol, right?
Idols.
What do you think is going through? Does Gideon might have to kill his dad? I don't know. But if you're going in, Yahweh's for you. What if his dad doesn't repent? This is my own family. Could it be? Didn't say that, but this is his own. What if his dad goes, that's the one. Man, I'm going to be fighting my dad. Can you imagine what's going through his house? Or his mind? Okay, 29.
I think 28.
Okay,
And
so
the
20.
men of the city rose up early in the morning, and lo, the altar of Baal had been overthrown, and the sacred stem that was by it had been cut down, and the second bullock had been caused to ascend upon the altar that has been built. So they said one to another, who had done this? And they inquired and made search, and it was said, Gideon, son of Joash, hath done this thing. So the men of the city said unto Joash, bring forth thy son that he may die, because he hath overthrown the altar of Baal, and because he had cut down the sacred stem that was by it.
In a church, in churches, if you were to split the Democrats on one side and the Republicans, who would be the ones you'd be worried about actually trying to kill you? It's going to be the Democrats. Republicans, we don't riot. Republicans don't go lynch people. That's why they're easier to pick on the Democrats. Democrats wear masks. But here it was. What happens? They're going to kill him. Who's going to kill him? Not Midian. And you see, Gideon could not fight the Midianites and the Amalekites until he got rid of the reasons why the Midianites and the Amalekites were there. Why are they here? You guys got idolatry. And so you could go into idolatry, all kinds of things. I just recently was talking to a Protestant, and they said, you went to a Catholic church? When they said it that way, I went, I did. I can't believe you went to a Catholic church. I go, why? They pray to Mary. They got an image of Mary, and Mary's. And I went, are we supposed to pray to Mary? No. There's one mediator, Jesus Christ, and then it was easy for them to see the Catholics. Then I said, you ready? You can dish it. Can you receive correction? And they're like, whoa, well, you can't correct me. And I went, let me show you the idolatry in your church. And as I did, guess what they did? And the same thing with me, with John Shane. Talked about my lucky socks. Dude, I had the stinkiest socks. I wouldn't change my socks when I played football, but here it was. You got idolatry in your too. But the thing is not to put people down. It's to clean your house up. You can't go fight. You know what Yahweh's going to do? Dad just gave me a prophecy yesterday. You know what it was? Yahweh's going to bless me, but sometimes he's going to put me through tribulation. I'm going to have to fight some stuff. And every once in a while, he's going to call you in a direction that's going to make you have to clean your life up in order to get it. I don't want to clean my life up. I want to stay really comfortable. No, you're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your mortgage. You're going to lose your house unless you clean up this junk right over here. And that's what a good father would do anyways, right? Yahweh is a jealous Elohim. One of the problems with the riots is pastors, churches. When I talk to Christians today and I go, it's the Democrats. You know what they do? Their eyes get this big. They go, don't say the D word, man. Don't call the Democrat riots. When I do, they start freaking out. It's the Democrat riots. Why? Well, because they know you're going to be attacked by them. But one of the problems with the riots, what's happening today with all this COVID and all the rest of the stuff, is the Democrats. And one of the biggest ones is not the Antifa and the far, far left Democrats. To me, that's the Amalekites and the Midianites. George Soros isn't walking, he's not trying to convince anybody. It's the pastors and churches that won't call a Democrat a Democrat. And they won't say, these are the Democrats that are attacking us. They won't say the Democrats don't want us to go to church, but you can go riot. The Republicans are fighting for us to go to church. No, we're not going to say that. Why? Well, the Democrats will attack us. We got to call them out and to build them up to say, you got to quit being a coward. I'm not a coward. Produce the fruit. You're being a coward. Yeah. Well, they're going to attack you. How do you think Gideon felt? Yahweh didn't tell Gideon he's going to have 300 men. But he did. Gideon was afraid too, and he's doing with all of us. I was telling somebody on a scale of 1 to 100, if the Apostle Paul was 100, I'm probably at 15% or 20% right now. But the only way I'm going to at least get to 50 is if people that love me will do Galatians 6:1. You got to work on this. You got to correct this. You got to tweak this thing. Not to put me down, but to lift me up. You got to get rid of these ticks. Get ticks in your life. You got idolatry, lust of the eyes, and lust of the flesh, the vain grandeur of life, or whatever it is. But that's how we deliver one another. The neat thing about the 300, not one of them died.
I didn't realize that.
Not one of them died. You're going to go, man, that's the real 300. And the neat thing what's happening right now is that there's, I can't speak this, but there's a lot of tribulation in churches, and the pastors that I do know, their churches are just, they can't get together. There's probably not money coming in. Church splits and all the rest of this stuff, and I had to tell somebody, I said, look, numbers doesn't mean you're going the right direction. Numbers could be meaning just the opposite. Because the numbers with Gideon, Yahweh said, get rid of the unbelief, get rid of the idolaters, get rid of these people. I don't want them. And they got down to, then Yahweh goes, these 300 will go with you. And Gideon, Yahweh, you didn't know there's going to be 300 people. But that was it. And so thinning things out, losing friends, is not a bad thing. It could be a good thing to say, if I'm going to lose friends because I got to stay close to Yahweh, then that's a good thing. But Gideon was very afraid. I've never been in his position, but Yahweh said, I will be with you. You stayed up at school. You talk about the Democrats. What's going to happen to you? They're going to attack you. Yeah, absolutely they will. And that's one thing. If you join the Democrats, you keep your mouth shut, they will leave you alone. But if you stand up like a Gideon and go, this is the Democrat riots of the 2020. That's what it is. And you know the race riots in 1992, Rodney King with the Democrat race riots, and when Bill Clinton was running, we call these things out. So I guess where we can be rising up like Gideon, so we can start calling a Democrat a Democrat. You are for sodomy, partial birth abortion, stealing thy neighbor's goods. Coveting thy neighbor's goods, that's their MO. We'll take somebody else's property and give it to you. You can't do it. You can't be a Christian and do it. And and some of the times you're going to be there, I'm going to be there, we're going to have friends in our life, and we go, there's no point. There's no point in even bringing it up. That's the biggest excuse, the easy excuse any of us could have. There's no point. They won't listen to me. The point isn't that people listen to you. The point is, don't be a coward in front of Yahweh. Stand up for Him. That's the point. And Gideon didn't know his father was going to get on board. But his father did a 180. What would happen to Gideon if he didn't do it? We don't know. But we can imagine what 300 warriors are waiting for you or me to rise up. And look at Donald Trump right now, and he's doing it. Okay.
Thank you.
May
the Father.
have saved his father's life by doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You never consider that. You think that he put a hit out against him to kill him, and yet it saved his father's life by removing those idols.
Yeah.
The Midianites couldn't kill him.
Yep.
And so,
Amen. No, that's a good point. Well, Father, I thank you that I've never been a pastor of 100, 300, 1,000 people. I've never been a Gideon. I've never been a judge. And so as I read those things, we just thank you for helping us be conformed to your Son's image, to call right, right, wrong, wrong. And we thank you that we will all stand in front of or kneel in front of your Son one day. And for just helping us prepare. When's Christ coming back? And that's our hope. The resurrection, the resurrection. And we thank you for these words. My sons and daughters, know that I am with you. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. And don't let your eyes deceive you on all these friends you think you have. They will abandon you that quick. Once it's inconvenient or you take a stand, they're going to leave you, and your flesh is going to tell you that you've left, and your flesh is going to tell you this is why you don't speak politics. But it is when you make those stands that you actually pull a chair out for me. Did you know that sometimes you're sitting down to have dinner with people, and there's no room for me to sit until these people leave? You stand up, you speak politics, you speak what is right and what is wrong, you take a stand. And these people that get up will allow me and my son and my messengers to sit with you. And though you may not see us directly, the peace that you have and the rewards you'll have will be better than anything that's been left. Amen.
Hallelujah.